Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of Vanya's Homestead Journey. I was just walking through the forest right now, looking around, and as you notice, everything is starting to turn brown. And I thought it might be an interesting video to talk a little about what kind of food you can still find in the forest when the autumn starts and all the berries starts going and um, well, let's just talk about that a little bit. I came across some mushrooms that a lot of people in Sweden know, but not in different parts of the world. Not everybody knows. At least where I'm from, nobody knows. Seem to know, and that is this one. And I just came across them. And these are just two, but this is one of the easiest to recognize by the hood that has this uneven, unround shape, and on the back has this, it's not really spores, but these lines over it that make it very distinguishable, I would say. And of course the color. These grow not on wood, so be careful if you see them growing on wood. They're not the same ones. And of course, always when I talk about food in videos like this, check in your own area what kind of mushrooms and what kind of stuff you should and should not eat, because a little mistake can have, even though there's not a lot of dangerous, like life-threatening mushrooms out here at least. It would be really messed up if you pick the wrong one and you get in trouble by that. So always check your local guides or whatever you got there. That being said, this is cantarell, of course. A lot of people here know it, and you could probably eat them like this. Nothing bad is gonna happen, but they're not great then, of course. Best thing is to bake them or use them in whatever way, but if you bake them, they taste really good and they smell really good also. So we're gonna take that. That would be a part of a meal. Now something else interesting. I may have told this before in some different video, but during the winter, the blueberries they turn into just little sticks like this. Well, you could technically eat them, but it's not great. In autumn though, right now, they are still, there's no blueberries left, almost. You might still find them somewhere, but they look like this. And these little leaves have more nutritional value than the blueberries itself. And when I talk about nutritional value and blueberries, it's a story apart, because officially a blueberry is calorie neutral, which means that it takes as much calories to burn one as it gives you. So it's not a great survival food in that way. The leaves, on the other hand, well, they don't taste nice, but they have a lot of antioxidants. So they have this very dry-ish bitter taste. But there, like I said, there's a lot of antioxidants in it, so it is a good food to have. If you cook them, they get softer and the bitterness goes away a little bit. You also lose a little bit of the nutrition, of course. So yeah, I think they're gross. Another thing that you could eat that is, well, not very popular, of course, and it doesn't have a lot of nutritional value, but it fills up your stomach at least, and in combination with some baked cantarell, it might actually be kind of nice of a meal. But if you're really in trouble, and they used to call it poor man's bread, this is a pine tree. You could do it with a spruce tree as well, I would say, but in a pine tree case, you could take this bark and make a fine powder out of it, and then with some water or milk if you have it, but water, you can make like a dough and bake bread with it. Now, like I said, that's not gonna be a great taste. It's not gonna have a lot of nutritional value, but with some mushies on it, you could have a reasonable meal with that. At least it fills up your stomach, right? So there we have two things that I'm just walking here, and I found those things, three things actually. You could make a soup out of it like this, right? So if you have water, it's always good to make a soup or a stew, because you could just throw in whatever you got. Everything gets cooked, and if you keep it for the next day, you can just warm it up and eat it again without with a smaller chance of it spoiling. So that's why soups in survival situations or stews are always a good thing. Remember when I said that one of the three items that I always bring when I go into the forest is, one of them is a cup. So a knife, a cup, and a flint. Well, that's why I want to bring a cup that is metal, that you can put on the fire. So you can make your little stew, one-person stew, if you need to. That's the reason for that one. So, and you just throw in whatever you find. Now, I could tell a little bit more about how to trap. There's a simple way of making a trap, and I don't have it on me right now because this was a little bit of a spontaneous video, but I can paste it in here later and show you a little bit how to make it maybe. What you want to trap for here, and it's like, trapping is illegal here, so you're not gonna do it, right? I've never done that. But in a survival situation, if you need food and you're lost and you're in real trouble, well, then it gets less important what is legal or illegal, so you need to eat, right? So if you have to, because you're in that kind of situation, then you will. And you will want to go trapping for squirrels, in this area at least. You could go trap for birds as well, or hare or something if it's in your area a lot. Now, hares are a pretty decent animal to trap as well, because they follow a behavior that is predictable. Like the little deer pods that I'm talking about sometimes. Well, I'm walking one right now so I can show you. Yeah, you see this line here? Yeah, like this line here, that's a deer pod. So that's a little pod that I'm following that is not man-made. That is because a lot of creatures in the forest are creatures of habit, and they create pods like that. So a hare would also follow that path. Now a hare, if you make a snare trap, for example, you want to do it 2 fists on top of each other. That's about the height that you want to do it. And the snare itself, the loop, I don't know if you call it that way, but you know what I mean, should be, your fist should fit through it. Otherwise it will go through it and it will peel it and it will back out again, because they are very suspicious creatures. For squirrel, who is much lower to the ground, you can do it like half a fist off the place that you would snare it. Right now I'm walking in a piece of the forest that doesn't have so many squirrels, so it's difficult to show you. But what you do when you find the right place, and if I find one while I'm walking, then I'll skip to that. But what you do is you find the right place where you have a lot of indications that squirrels might be. Yeah, okay, I think I found a place, yeah. Okay, what is interesting, if you want to find a place where squirrels are, is you can look around at the ground, and sometimes you see on, and maybe we come across a place like that, you see on an old, on a stone or something that is elevated from the ground, you see signs of squirrels. Here's one, a really cool one actually. Look, in this tree, You see that it's set off the ground and it left this thing. Now this is this should have been looking like on the ground like this. This is a complete one, and this is how they leave it. So it has been eating here. Let me put it back just for filming purposes. But that's how they leave it, and they eat it up because they want to have an overview, because they're very paranoia little creatures. What you usually see is on the ground some more signs of squirrels. You see a lot of this stuff, like the little ones, little pieces that they've eaten. Here's one that they started. Now the interesting thing is, if they eat it while sitting on the ground, then you know that it's just visiting there. So and with the ground I also mean like elevated places, like well, whatever, not high up at least. They're just sitting there, eating, looking around and checking if there's no danger around or something like that. Now when you come to a place like this, you will see a lot of it. This is where it has sitten down, because it's very concentrated. You see that? And a lot of it. This was one hungry squirrel. In this case, I wouldn't. Yeah, it's a good sign that you know there's squirrels around, right? But apart from that, this is not the best place to put it. What is when it gets interesting, and we should go look for that. There's a lot of it around here, as you see. So it is a strong indicator that this tree is of some interest to the squirrel. But because it's so concentrated and so low to the ground, I wouldn't say that it takes the food up in its tree and to eat it there. Because if they do that, then it is shattered around the tree. So that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a tree that is that has that kind of signs, but shattered around the tree. So we know that it ate up, because when it falls, it doesn't fall straight down, right? It falls like this. So we have a larger area that the little seeds are laying, or whatever they leave when they eat the seeds. Now what they do when they find a tree like that, squirrels always take the easy route down. So if, for example, look, this is a perfect example of a stone, like I said, little elevated, and there it sat eating, well, whatever, same sort of things. You see, this is what they leave. Cool. It's starting to rain. That's messed up. So what I was talking about, they're creatures of habit. So they and of extreme ease. They're lazy when it comes to that, or energy efficient, whatever you wanna call it. Energy efficient sounds way nicer. So what you wanna do is, if you find a tree that you think is something that the squirrel might have taken as a home, you can see it sometimes that they have built a nest up there. I'm not sure how you call those nests in English, but there's more. Yeah, look, more cantarell. That's how you find it. So what you do, and I'll do it on small scale right now so you can see. Let's say this is a tree that the squirrel has made his home of. What you do if you want to snare, you find a stick. It doesn't really matter what kind of stick, way bigger than this, right? So you want to do it like 1.5 meters up at least. Otherwise it makes no sense for the squirrel to take that route. Like I said, squirrels take the easy route. So what you do is you plant the stick, like a big one, at an angle on the tree that makes it easier for the squirrel to go down there, and then it will take that route 9 out of 10 times, and that's where you snare it. So you place the little snares on the on the stick like that. When the squirrel comes down, it's, you know, you don't, like I said, you don't want to do this unless you really have to, and you're really lost and you need to really get some meat in your system. Then you could use these kind of techniques. But that's how you're gonna trap a squirrel like that, by putting it up to a tree like that and just kind of tricking it into your snare. So now we got some sort of bread. We got 4 canterelles that we just found. We brought a cup. Water, there's enough water right now, and I can show you in a different video how to find water, but it just started raining, which it does a lot in this area, so I wouldn't worry about water too much. And we caught a squirrel, and we got some blueberry leaves for some extra boost. So we could have got a meal by just walking around. If you're really panicking, this alone is a meal, right? You could just eat them. So, well, again, this is a little bit of a chaotic video, which I'm doing sometimes when I just walk through the forest and all of a sudden see something that I want to talk about. But if you're lost in the forest in autumn time in this area, then that's what you could do. Don't go wandering off in the forest. Sit tight, make a fire, go on a small area around that place and wait to be rescued. So when you go into the forest, always tell people that you're going into the forest and about what area you're going to, so they will be able to find you if you don't come home or whatever. And they're going to be looking in a certain area, so don't make improvised compasses. Sometimes I have people here that say, yeah, but moss always grows on one side of a tree, and then if you keep walking towards the moss and whatever, yeah, there's too many influences that can change things like that. Same as anthills on one side of a tree. Yeah, makes sense. If one side of the tree is more windy, if the wind comes from one direction all the time, they would probably put it on the other side, right? But to bet your life on it is is quite risky. So what you should do is stay put, make a fire, make a shelter, make sure you got some water, get yourself some food. If it's gonna take long, you can do a long time without food, right? So, but it's also just to keep you busy. Go look for food. It's a good way of not going nuts and panicking, because panic is the number one cause of death when you're lost in the forest, I would say. And then you're just gonna sit there and you're gonna wait for the rescue party to find you after 1 or 2 days. Now, if you have water, you're gonna be fine. If you have food, you're gonna be great, if you don't lose your mind. So keep busy, make a spoon or something, as long as you're careful with the knife. That's how you would probably have the most chance of surviving in the forest here in this area around autumn time. I will show, if there's interest for it, how to make traps and that kind of stuff. But of course, if you want to see it in real life, you can come here. I offer survival courses, and we can do it in real life if you think that's cool. Otherwise, I'll just post it on YouTube as well, and you can watch it for free, which is also fine with me. I'd rather have you know it and not get in trouble, right? So yeah, I think that was it for today. In some other video I will show more, because this is something that I just do when I'm walking in the forest, and then sometimes I pick up a camera and film these kind of things. So again, it's a little chaotic, but I hope you enjoyed it. And if you do, then give me a thumbs up, would be cool. Thanks for watching again, and I see you on the next time. Thank you very much. Hey do.